Hi, everyone, and welcome to City Beat. I'm your host, Nancy Byrne, and we are coming to you from the KCLV TV studios as we look back at some of the significant and some of our favorite stories from 2018. We're going to start with a couple of stories that illustrate the compassion our community has for each other and for communities outside our area. Let's start with Nevada Task Force 1. They left for a 13-day deployment to hurricane-ravaged North Carolina, where they rushed to the rescue of people suffering there. Sue Levitt was there when they returned home and said they received a very warm welcome after what turned out to be a hard and emotional trip.
That's when we knew we were in the hurricane. We were actually, the rain was blinding. Our travel was down to about 5 miles an hour. Couldn't really see the vehicles in front of you. The rain was just torrential.
Just as Hurricane Florence was gaining power at sea and hurling toward the East Coast, our Nevada Task Force team was on their way to help, heading straight into the storm.
Just driving down there, you start to see the initial parts of the flooding, and then the more you get into the eye of the storm, you know, it's just worse and worse. Trees are down, power lines are down, houses are, roofs are blown off. Gas stations, how they have the awning over their gas pumps, those are collapsed and sitting on the ground and with water over the top of them. And so you just start to see the destruction that Mother Nature can actually put on.
Our team from Nevada spent most of their time in Beaufort, North Carolina, where they stayed at a local fire station assisting the first responders there.
And we get to this brand new fire station with about 6 guys there, and they're welcoming 16 guys from Las Vegas, Nevada.
Once our team arrived, they were immediately sent out on boats to rescue people trapped and stranded in their homes.
We are busting our butts 24/7 out there and laughing and having a good time the whole time doing it. And we're feeding off that goodwill from those people, and it just keeps you energized.
And that energy was what kept our team going as they worked around the clock, not only helping with boat rescues, but anything else that was needed, including checking on a horse preserve to be sure the animals were safe, and at one point, a last-minute barbecue to cook food that was going to go bad from local restaurants left without power.
I get calls every day from people that haven't had a hot meal since this thing started 5 days ago. We started cooking and prepping, and they just kept filing in. I think total count, we had over 300 people we fed that night.
Everywhere our team went, they were met with gratitude from the people of Beaufort.
You guys came all the way from Las Vegas to help us? That is so wonderful. You guys are something special. We can't appreciate you anymore. We can't thank you more.
And the mayor of Beaufort personally came out to thank and meet our task force team to be sure they knew their good deeds given to his town would not go without notice.
He wanted us to know about the diversity and the kindness of the people there. And you're going, man, what kind of mayor is this?
Well, he's the kind of mayor that presents a key to a city to our task force team.
I'll say it's my first key to any city, so.
He made you proud that you were a Beaufort convert citizen that day. He didn't want us to just feel that we were here doing a job for a bunch of strangers. He wanted us to feel like, you know what, you're in our community, you're part of our community, you're part of our family. And it was awesome.
After 13 days serving the people of North Carolina, our team was sent back to Las Vegas.
You just want to stop and just turn around and go back and just keep on until they physically grab you and say you have to leave.
Our Nevada Task Force team received the call they were being deployed at about 11 p.m. Monday, September 10th. Within a few hours, they were packed up and ready to leave their stations here in Las Vegas. And by 2 a.m., they were on the road driving for 4 days straight to reach those people that needed their help so badly. A big sacrifice to make, leaving your own families behind to help those that were in need. And now safe back home, the team receives a warm welcome from friends and family members.
Just to have them there welcoming you home, it is kind of overwhelming.
For City Beat, I'm Sue Levitt.
Our task force is made up of firefighters from Las Vegas Fire and Rescue, North Las Vegas, Clark County, and Henderson. Thank you to them, and thank you to Sue Levitt for that story. Well, also in October, our community gathered together to remember the horrific shootings of October 1st, 2017 at the Route 91 concert. 58 people lost their lives and countless others were injured, either physically or emotionally. Well, just as we came together after the shootings, we also came together for the one-year anniversary. There were so many ceremonies and tributes. We want to take you to just one at the Downtown Community Healing Garden. Before the ceremony, before the sunset, the Community Healing Garden was already filled with people who came to see some of the more permanent additions. The Remembrance Wall, the calming water feature, the set of sculptured wings, and so much more. But those who came were not only here to see this garden continue to evolve into a place of peace, hope, and remembrance. They were here to feel the peace, hope, and to remember. As the sun began to set, this phenomenon appeared in the sky. Instead of rain, as expected, this unexpected sight, which many, including our Mayor Carolyn Goodman, took as a sign that we're not alone in our healing, and we must honor those 58 lives lost by living our lives with meaning.
Tonight is giving thanks to a higher power. We know it was to rain. We saw the sign in the sky. We're a blessed community, and each one of you who has another day in life, whether it was from 1 October or from this day moving forward, be thankful and make it meaningful.
City Attorney Brad Jerbick emceed the ceremony. One of his own friends and city co-workers, Cameron Robinson, was killed at the Route 91 concert shooting. He echoed our mayor's feelings.
The only way evil wins if we let it destroy us. Let us agree tonight and forever to never let evil win or break us. Let the 58 souls whose names appear in the beautiful wall behind me, let's honor them by not just surviving, but by devoting our lives to making this a better world.
Brad was instrumental in helping this garden come to fruition. Throughout the ceremony marking the one-year anniversary and the rededication of the wall, many spoke of the community effort that went into creating this garden. It went up in less than a week, right after the October 1st shooting, thanks to thousands of hands working together, hands searching for a way to heal and support the living while honoring those we lost.
It came from the heart and soul of our people, who then found they could begin to breathe again and feel part of something permanent, something resilient, even broaching on ethereal. It's about earth and trees and plants and living and life and surviving into years to come, far beyond any of our years.
The man behind the concept of this healing place spoke of his need to do something after the shooting. He decided to donate his time and talent as a landscaper, and when the city donated the land, he and his business partner, Daniel Perez, began their work, and the community simply showed up.
People from across the city, from across the country, and the world came together on this empty piece of desert to plant the Las Vegas Community Healing Garden. Instead of retreating into fear, we as a community stepped forward. Together we planted a garden, not only of trees and flowers, but we planted a garden of love, hope, and compassion.
Among the many present for this ceremony, former Congresswoman Gabby Giffords, no stranger to the struggles of healing from a senseless act. She and her husband, Mark Kelly, felt the need to be here. You might recall she was shot along with 18 others in 2011 at a constituent meeting in Arizona. 6 people died.
Because we feel a connection with all of you in this community because of what happened to Gabby and her constituents and the people that were there at that Safeway store on January 8th of 2011. So thank you for the invitation, and it's great for Gabby and I to be here.
The evening ended with white roses being left at the wall by Mayor Carolyn Goodman, Governor Brian Sandoval, and many others, including some who traveled far to be here to remember and honor the 58 who could not.
Oh, well, God, isn't that term healing garden just the most appropriate term ever? This is such a soothing place that just identifies each one of the people, just a place for everybody to come and remember each one of the victims and their families, and just a tree and rocks and plenty of items that have been left for each person. It's just such an honor.
Could be anywhere, but we're here because 58 aren't. You know, we're here for them.
We have an incredible community of caring and compassionate people. Well, let's switch gears a little bit and talk about our community coming together for something else, business and art. For people who live, work, or play on Main Street, they waited a long time for the improvements and renovations to be completed, but it happened in September, and there was a celebration, a big celebration on September 6th. People started gathering around Main and Commerce in downtown Las Vegas on this warm Thursday evening. They were here to celebrate our ever-evolving downtown and this beautiful piece of public art being unveiled to kick off a two-part ceremony.
And we're excited to unveil this beautiful work of art known as Radial Symmetry. I'd also like to offer a special thank you to the Las Vegas Arts Commission for their support of this exciting public art project.
Radial Symmetry was created by local artist Luis Varela Rico. He was chosen out of several local artists to create a piece that spoke to our city's roots and heart. He dug back to a time before gambling and entertainment were what sprung to mind at the mention of our city. He explained that as an artist, he was drawn to how the Southern Paiutes turned practical vessels into an art form.
I researched their work. They were into making baskets, really intricate baskets. I liked the shapes of the vessels, and I definitely responded to the pattern work that they weaved into the baskets.
I oftentimes think if we can give them the opportunity to use some city grants or city funds to hire a city artist, somebody who lived here for 30 years, then we can make a world-renowned artist.
Mayor Carolyn Goodman told the crowd that she and her husband, former Mayor Oscar Goodman, were determined to put the downtown back on the map, and that public art was always an important element to that goal.
This is such an exciting time for us because, as you see, we've widened the sidewalks, landscape, everything's so beautiful, but the most important part of any city, beyond its safety and its medical care, the most important piece is culture and art.
Councilman Bob Coffin, who represents this area of the city, led the ceremonial ribbon cutting, marking this beautiful gateway into downtown Las Vegas. He then led the entire group to the next stop, Maine in California, where locals and local business owners were ready to celebrate part 2 of the evening's festivities, the lighting and unveiling of Main Street Improvement Project. Wider pedestrian-friendly sidewalks, beautiful trees, and a brand new one-way street, all under a new canopy of bistro lights.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, light 'em up!
With crowds that rival a First Friday event here in the downtown, you could see every shop, restaurant, and bar was bustling with excitement, and people of all ages, tourists and locals.
Very, very nice. We love it. We just live actually nearby, and we really like the idea that we have a place now to go around, to see. It's open. It's very nice. We love it.
And while the lighting makes for a beautiful ambiance on Main Street, this dog mom says she also feels safer now.
Very nice because there is light, you can walk. There's not many places here in downtown that you can actually do a walk. So it's really nice to have a space that you can take the walk, take your dog for a walk.
Yeah.
Probably summed up best by Derek Stonebarger at the Radial Symmetry unveiling, downtown Las Vegas is one of the hottest spots around. And not just because we're so cool.
Not just because we have the coolest bars and restaurants and antique stores and art galleries, but just because we have a real community that's being formed. And it's something that we can all be proud of, to be here in downtown Las Vegas in the Arts District. Yeah, applaud yourselves, seriously.
It was a great party, right? So Councilman Bob Coffin says, just remember how great that felt, because after Project Neon is nearly complete, there's going to be another major rehab on Las Vegas Boulevard from Sahara all the way to Stewart. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to visit with a very familiar face as he visits with some of his biggest fans at Las Vegas Fire and Rescue. Congratulations to the City of Las Vegas Employee of the Month, Savante Manor. Savante is a community program specialist and has been with the city for 20 years. There are many examples of how he adheres to our city values to be a model employee. Like earlier this year, when he was notified toward the end of the day that the rain had flooded home plate at one of our ball fields. City leagues were getting ready to play, but the flooded home plate area was going to make it impossible. Rather than having the teams cancel games, Savante grabbed a rake and shovel, headed out to the field, and moved dry dirt in from the outfield to get the field back in shape and game ready. Another example was when Savante encountered a young man in front of City Hall moaning and clutching his head next to his vehicle. Without concern for himself, Savante notified the marshals there was a man in trouble, then knelt down next to him and comforted him until the marshals arrived to help. For his kindness and dedication to every citizen in the city, we congratulate Savante Manor, the City of Las Vegas Employee of the Month. Welcome back to City Beat from the KCLV TV studios, where we're looking back at some of our favorite stories of 2018. Now, in case you are just now waking up from a 2-year nap, you might not know that we have a history-making hockey team here. They came this close to winning the Stanley Cup. Of course, I'm talking about the Las Vegas Golden Knights. They have fans all over the world, but one of their fans here surprised everyone just a little bit, and it's through his devotion to the Knights that he gained fans of his own. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Marc-Andre Fleury, sometimes confused with the Vegas Golden Knights' incredible goalie Marc-Andre Fleury. Well, in name anyway. As you can see, they don't really look much alike. But when his human dad, Rick Williams, became a huge fan of the Knights, he came up with the idea for the name as a way of showing his support to the team in a fun way. Put it on Twitter and Instagram, and as it turns out, Bark has become a sensation, and you can see why.
Oh, the good old hockey game. It's the best game you can name. And the best game you can name is the good old hockey game. Oh, hello. Marc-Andre Fleury here. Go Knights, go.
Among Bark's fans are the men and women of Las Vegas Fire and Rescue, where his presence was recently requested. During their visit, I got to meet him and Rick for the very first time. How many Twitter followers does he have?
4,000. He's got 16,000 Instagram followers.
And not just in Las Vegas, right?
Oh, Canada's big and all over the United States.
You're so famous. Well, thank you for what you do and for supporting the Knights, and we love you. Oh, yes, we do. The staff in the emergency call center were the ones who asked them to come visit, and visit he did with every single dispatcher. After spreading the love in the call center, it was downstairs to Fire Station 1, where breakfast was being prepared by the firefighters.
Breakfast burritos for the boys. Yep.
The scent of bacon was not lost on old Bark, and it wasn't long before he was shaken for bacon.
Shaking, he's very famous, yes. He listens.
Out in the bay where the fire trucks are kept, there were more photo ops. Then I had the honor of presenting Marc-Andre Fleury with a certificate of appreciation from Las Vegas Mayor Carolyn Goodman. So Mayor Carolyn Goodman, the great mayor of the great city of Las Vegas, wanted so badly to be here to meet Bark Fleury, but she's caught up with city council right now.
Understood.
So she wanted to present Bark Andre Furry with this certificate of appreciation for his support of the Golden Knights, and of course to you too, Mr. Williams, because you do take him around, and you know, he's just become such a big hit. She loves the Knights, she loves Las Vegas Fire and Rescue, she loves pets, and she really loves Bark. So thank you for what you do. It was a busy morning for Bark, but from one Golden Knights fan to many others here at Las Vegas Fire and Rescue, it was all in a day's work. If you can call giving kisses, eating bacon, and mugging it up for the cameras work. You can follow Bark yourself. He's on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. His handle is @BarkAndreFurry. We're going to turn now to some critters that aren't quite as warm and fuzzy as Bark. I don't know about you, but I've never been a big fan of spiders and snakes and lizards. But there was an exhibit at the Springs Preserve earlier this year that really won my heart, because after I went through it, I actually kind of fell in love with some of those slimy creatures. Welcome to the latest summer exhibit here at the Springs Preserve, Nature's Ninjas.
There's a variety of snakes, including pythons, boas, corn snakes, king snakes. There are some other, a lot of different lizards, including chameleons from around the world, as well as something called a false chameleon. We've got poison dart frogs, salamanders.
Aaron McAuliffe tells us this exhibit is not here just so that visitors can see cool creatures they don't usually have contact with. It's here to teach us the importance of respecting the animals and why it's important to live in harmony with them.
We have a lot of folks who see a lot of these creepy crawlies and have this kind of visceral reaction. And really, one of the things that we do, we're trying to break down those barriers, let people understand a lot of these snakes, a lot of these lizards are very, very beneficial to us. They help to keep insect populations as well as rodent populations in check. These are animals that can potentially spread diseases to us humans. So having these predators out in the wild is a very good thing for us.
And while you're here looking at the animals from the other side of the glass, you just never know when a handler will come out and introduce you to, say, an armadillo. This is Spalding. Like everyone else here, I learned something new. Armadillos have hair. I never would have thought he was a mammal.
Yeah, it's
until
weird,
I felt him and felt the hair.
I know, man. And the first time I saw him, I was like, man, you know, this might be one of my new favorite animals.
Yeah. Sean Adderley works for Little Rays, the largest reptile and exotic animal rescue in Canada. He travels the continent with this cast of creatures, hoping to entertain, but teach important lessons about them, like responsible pet ownership.
We want to spread messages of things like responsible pet ownership, you know, not only what animals you should bring into your homes and how you should take care of them, but even where you're getting them from. I mean, you know, if you really like animals that live in your natural environment, getting them from the outdoors and from the wild really isn't the best place to get them from. And it's specifically for the well-being of those animals, as well as your family too. Animals that grow up in the wild and spend their time trying to avoid predators are probably going to think that a large human is probably a predator as well. So it's not going to be the happiest animal in your house.
He uses Spalding, the armadillo, to teach about conservation.
The three-banded armadillo here, for example, from northeastern Brazil, in the past 10 years, they've lost about 30% of their wild population, again, from people mostly trapping them in for the pet trade and bringing them in by those means. And to be able to teach people about these and give them a respect for these animals in a light that they don't usually get to see them in, it means a lot to us.
The final lesson is in the name of the exhibit, Nature's Ninjas. Here, you learn how these animals have survived thousands of years by being stealth around predators and being ninja-like when it comes to capturing prey in order to nourish and live.
In the animal world, it's an eat or be eaten proposition. You need to be able to sneak up on the animals that you eat, or just as importantly, kind of fade in the background so the animals that eat you don't see you.
So does the exhibit really change your view? Well, I still will give spiders and snakes a respectful distance, but I never thought I'd fall in love with an armadillo named Spalding.
Not only are animals really, you know, unique and cute and cool, but we also have a lot in common with them as well.
Oh, right there.
Well, that exhibit wrapped up on Labor Day, but there's always cool stuff going on at the Springs Preserve. You can find out more by going to springspreserve.org. Earlier in the show, we were talking about how people in our community really care about each other, and no better place was that proven than the Las Vegas Senior Center, where every year they gather together residents 90 years or older to celebrate life and birthdays. We stopped by and we found out the secret to eternal youth is laughter, good food, and friends. It was like finding your way into a secret speakeasy, and once inside, there were dancers, flappers with flasks, and a room filled with shine, glitter, and beautiful people dining with friends. The theme of this 27th annual 90-plus birthday bash was mobsters and malls. Like every year, organizers here at the Las Vegas Senior Center go all out.
But this year is the 1920s Mobsters and Mall, hence my lovely outfit. But last year we did the 1960s, we've done magic, the year of the anniversary of Las Vegas and all that, we did a theme for Las Vegas. We've done everything, masquerade ball, all sorts of different.
Theme may change each year, but what stays the same is the staff here wants these residents from in and around the city of Las Vegas to know they are treasured.
It's a way to honor the citizens who have lived such a good life, and they have so many stories to share and so much to give to us that we want to honor them.
All I needed to do was sit down with a few of the honorees to quickly realize the honor was really all ours. Their stories fill the heart, like Leila McClendon, 103 years old. She says she moved here from Texas but feels right at home.
Since '62. And I love it. And I've been here pretty soon after that.
Leila was one of 9 siblings. Her 93-year-old baby sister is the only one still alive. Besides her, it was her birth that remains one of Leila's fondest memories.
I bathed her the next morning after her birth. I was 10 years old, and I bathed that 4-pound baby girl. We were a big family. And of course the doctor left the home when the baby came. Next morning I bathed her.
And meet Wally and Carmel. He's 93, she's a little younger. He's from the United Kingdom, but fate brought him to Las Vegas some 30 years ago.
One of the nice things that happened was becoming an American citizen. No reflection on my birth country, but it's a lot more free from the class distinction here than it was. And of course I met my gorgeous wife, Carmela.
He walked into the restaurant where I was working as a hostess, and him and 6 other gentlemen that I didn't understand the way they talked because they had this accent. And I thought it was charming to hear him talk. Yeah.
The rest, as they say, is history. They discovered they had a lot in common, some good, some sad.
Yeah. We've both been married before. Both our spouses died with cancer, so.
Yeah, I was married 34 and a half years with the children's father. Yeah, then he died of cancer, lung cancer. And then a year to the day, the week, that would have made it a year that my husband had died, Wally walks into this restaurant, and I met him.
Well, how blessed to have found each other, right?
That's right. Sorry.
That's okay.
I feel very, very blessed and lucky.
This party is meant to be for these residents who have reached their golden years. But as you listen to their stories of life beginning with the bathing of a baby sister, or life ending with the former spouses of Wally and Carmel, or a second chance in life with their meeting in a restaurant, you realize this party is not just for them. It's for those of us who get to hear the memories they graciously share.
I know personally for me, it is the highlight of my year. I love doing this event, I love serving the seniors, and I love being able to give them this opportunity. Many of them never come out. I mean, this is one of the few times a year that they come out and socialize, and they get to socialize with their peers that they don't always get to meet with.
Well, that does it for another City Beat and another year. We want to thank you for joining us as we look back at just some of the events of 2018, and we certainly hope you'll stay with us all through 2019 as we keep track of our city right here on City Beat. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.